Bonjour et joyeux Noël. This is French for Kate Languages, and this is a special Christmas lesson where I'm going to be talking through the resources that are available for free to download on my website. If you've downloaded this lesson, which is also going to be available for free for you, as my little cadeau de Noël pour vous. So if you've downloaded this lesson, then you'll get this PDF anyway. But if you want to download the French and also this is French. I've also got German and Spanish, the same resource. You can either download the free lessons for those, or you can go to my blog, and the blog post is all of Kate Languages free resources all in one place, or something like that. I don't know. If you just search free resources on my website, you'll find it. Okay, but yeah, so the full video is going to be on YouTube, and this is going to be a full podcast episode for you. As I say, this is my petit cadeau de Noël pour vous. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to go through the vocab now, and you will learn what cadeau means. And also, yeah, so we're going to go through the vocabulary, and we've got reading, we've got some translation, kind of speaking type activities. So yeah, I just thought it might be useful if you want to use these resources with your students. These are GCSE style resources, but I do think they're suitable for Key Stage 3 and for Key Stage 4. And it might be useful for you to have a little look at this lesson, see how I might do it, and kind of take it from there. Might give you a little bit more confidence teaching the all this Christmas stuff. So I'm going to say right off the bat, this isn't about Christmas in France. Okay, so these are more the types of answers that students might want to give in GCSE speaking exam, or if they have to write about festivals and customs and things like that about their own selves. So it's more kind of based on the types of Christmas you might have in the UK, but to be able to talk about it in French. Hopefully that makes sense. And there are millions of things online about Christmas in France, if you're looking for that kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully this will be useful for you. Right, let's start with vocabulary. So as I said right at the beginning, Joyeux Noël means Happy Christmas. I'm going to say this a few times because it's quite a word to get your mouth around, I think. Joyeux, 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 joyeux. So Joyeux Noël, Happy Christmas. Joyeux Noël. Okay, Christmas Eve is la veille de Noël. La veille de Noël. If you're listening to this as a podcast and you need to see them written down, as I say, go to my website and download. It's all free. Download the lesson. I think for me, I would need to see how a lot of these words are written. So yeah. La veille de Noël is Christmas Eve, and then le jour de Noël is Christmas Day. So la veille de Noël, le jour de Noël. Some verbs you might find useful to practice: célébrer, to celebrate, célébrer. Recevoir, recevoir, to receive. And offrir, offrir is to give in terms of giving a present, or to offer. It literally means to offer, but you use it with giving a present, offrir. Okay, in the texts we're going to be using these in the past tense as well. So if I'll just go through those. So célébrer is a regular past participle, so we take off the er on the end of célébrer and we put an e with an accent. It sounds exactly the same when you're saying it though. Célébrer. So j'ai célébré, nous avons célébré. Recevoir, your past participle is reçu, so j'ai reçu. Spelled with a C, with a cedille, or cedille it is in French, or cedilla. I want to say cedilla, or it's kind of Spanish. So yeah, like with a little squiggle underneath the C. So R-E-C with a squiggle, you, reçu, j'ai reçu. Is a past participle of receive, recevoir. Offrir is another irregular one, and that's offert. O-F-F-E-R-T, offert, which is offered or gave. So if I gave a present, j'ai offert un cadeau à ma famille. I'll go through this when we go through the text in a moment. Okay, the word for present is un cadeau, le cadeau, masculine, cadeau, cadeau is a present, le cadeau. Christmas dinner is le repas de Noël, le repas de Noël. Christmas dinner. Le repas literally means meal. Le dinde is turkey, what you might have for your Christmas dinner. Le dinde, turkey. Le gâteau is cake, very important. Le gâteau, don't forget the accent circumflex on the A of gâteau. And Christmas tree is le sapin. I mean, there are so many other words related to Christmas. I just thought I'd go through a few key ones here. I'm going to repeat them as always. I'm going to go through the whole list again, and I'm going to leave a pause so you can repeat them after me. Bon. Joyeux Noël. La veille de Noël. Le jour de Noël. Célébrer. Recevoir. Offrir. Le cadeau. Le repas de Noël. Le dinde. Le gâteau. Et finalement, le sapin. D'accord. If you need more practice of that, rewind, have another listen, go through them again. If you want to do yourself a little vocab test, don't look at the PDF, don't look at the sheet. Go through that, listen to it again, write down what they mean in English. Little testing yourself, see if you've remembered them. D'accord. Bon, on va lire maintenant. On va lire. We're going to do a reading. However, you can do this as a listening. So if you've listened to any of my other or watched or whatever my other pre-recorded lessons, I do this quite a lot. So this is a reading task. However, I'm going to read it out loud. So what you could do is turn the picture off, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, this is ideal because you can just do this as a listening, and try to do it as a listening. So you can listen to what I'm saying, try to, I don't know, scribble down as much as you can possibly understand. If you've printed it off, you could just cover over the reading part and do the vrai ou faux, which is the questions underneath. Alternatively, you could just read along as I'm saying it so that you can see how the spelling and sound relationship works here, especially if you're more of a beginner and you're still not feeling really confident about the phonics and pronunciation and stuff. So they're the different options. So I'm going to read it all now. If you want to do it and do the vrai ou faux underneath, I suggest you have a listen to what I'm saying, then you pause, and then I'll go through the answer to the vrai ou faux straight after I've read it. Okay, so yeah. If you want to give yourself some time to answer it, pause the recording, answer the questions, and then I'll go through the answers after that. D'accord. Bon, tu vois cette photo des cadeaux de Noël en ligne. So you see these photos, you see this photo of Christmas presents online. D'accord. J'adore Noël. L'année dernière, j'ai reçu un nouveau portable et beaucoup de livres car j'aime lire. J'ai offert du chocolat et un pull à mes parents. L'année dernière, la veille de Noël, nous sommes allés chez mes grands-parents et nous avons mangé du saumon et une tarte aux pommes. C'était super. Cette année, nous allons rester chez nous et mes grands-parents, ma tante, mon oncle et mes cousins vont manger le repas de Noël avec nous. Je pense que ce sera bruyant, mais fantastique. As I said, if you want to do the vrai ou faux underneath, pause the recording, and I'm going to go through the answers now. Bon, vrai ou faux? Ah, il aime Noël. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'il dit? J'adore Noël. Alors, il aime Noël? Oui, c'est vrai. So, il aime Noël. He likes Christmas. At the start, he says, j'adore Noël, which means I love Christmas. I mean, I'm going to say love and like are similar. So, yeah, that's vrai. I bet some people are going to argue that's faux because, well, he doesn't like it. He loves it, but he feels positively about Christmas. Vrai. Okay. So, j'adore Noël is your first sentence. I love Christmas. Bon. B. L'année dernière, il a reçu du chocolat. L'année dernière, il a reçu du chocolat. Bon, qu'est-ce qu'il dit? L'année dernière, j'ai reçu un nouveau portable et beaucoup de livres. J'ai offert du chocolat et un poule à mes parents. D'accord. C'est faux. Almost got that wrong myself. C'est faux. Okay, so il a reçu du chocolat. He received chocolate. Non. J'ai reçu un nouveau portable. So he received, so he's saying last year, I received a new mobile phone. So un portable is a mobile phone. Et beaucoup de livres, lots of books, car j'aime lire, because I like reading. J'ai offert du chocolat. So he gave chocolate. So he didn't receive chocolate, so that is false. B is false. Bon. C. Il a mangé chez ses grands-parents la veille de Noël. Okay, so this is l'année dernière still. Il a mangé is past tense. Il a mangé chez ses grands-parents la veille de Noël. Let's have a look at the second paragraph. L'année dernière, la veille de Noël, nous sommes allés chez mes grands-parents et nous avons mangé du saumon, bla, 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 bla. D'accord, c'est vrai. Okay, so did he eat at his grandparents on Christmas Eve? Yes. That's what he says in the second paragraph. Last year on Christmas Eve, we went to my grandparents and we ate salmon and an apple tart. Probably not together. That would be gross. D. Ils ont mangé du poisson. Ah, okay. So we're still in this sentence here. Nous avons mangé du saumon. Nous avons mangé du saumon. Saumon, salmon, c'est du poisson. Le saumon, c'est du poisson. So salmon is a kind of fish. Alors ça, c'est vrai. Vrai. Et finalement, cette année, il va célébrer avec ses amis. Bon, qu'est-ce qu'il dit? Cette année, nous allons rester chez nous et mes grands-parents, ma tante, mon oncle et mes cousins vont manger le repas de Noël avec nous. So this year, we're going to stay at home and my grandparents, my aunt, my uncle and my cousins are going to eat Christmas dinner with us. So they are not his friends, they are his family. Alors, il ne va pas célébrer avec ses amis. Alors, c'est faux. Does any of this make sense? Hopefully. So let's just go through the answers. Il aime Noël. Vrai. L'année dernière, il a reçu du chocolat. Faux. Il a mangé chez ses grands-parents la veille de Noël. Vrai. Ils ont mangé du poisson. Vrai. Cette année, il va célébrer avec ses amis. Faux. So vrai, faux, vrai, vrai, faux. I'm gonna translate the text again for you. If you, I mean, I know I've just done this like quickly as we've been going along. If you'd like to have a go at translating the text by yourself, again, pause the recording, write out the translation yourself and then check it because I'm going to do it maintenant. Now, ok, d'accord. J'adore Noël. I love Christmas. L'année dernière, j'ai reçu un nouveau portable et beaucoup de livres car j'aime lire. Last year, I received a new phone and lots of presents because I like to read. J'ai offert du chocolat et un pull à mes parents. I gave some chocolate and a pullover jumper to my parents. L'année dernière, la veille de Noël, nous sommes allés chez mes grands-parents. So last year, on Christmas Eve, we went to my grandparents' house et nous avons mangé du saumon et une tarte aux pommes. And we ate salmon and an apple. I forgot pomme. Oh my God. And an apple tart. C'était super. It was super. It was great. Cette année, nous allons rester chez nous. This year, we're going to stay at our house or we're going to stay at home. Et mes grands-parents, ma tante, mon oncle et mes cousins, and my grandparents, my auntie, my uncle and my cousins vont manger le repas de Noël avec nous. Are going to eat Christmas dinner with us. Je pense que ce sera bruyant, mais fantastique. I think that it will be noisy. So bruyant is noisy. mais fantastique, but fantastic. D'accord. Okay, let's move on to the translation, the actual translation, another reading test. So again, there are lots of ways that you can do this. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it fairly slowly and carefully. So what you could do with this one as a listening activity is you could do it as like a dictation. So as I'm reading it, pause as I'm going along and try to write, I mean, obviously like cover it over and try to write out what you hear, and then you can check it against the text. Again, you could just listen as I'm reading it and write down as much as you understand in English. You could try and translate it as you're going along. That might be quite difficult. Or you can just listen to me reading it, me saying it, and you can read it along with me. Up to you. Bon, d'accord. Translate the following text into English. Voilà. J'aime Noël parce que j'aime offrir les cadeaux à mon père et à mes amis. L'année dernière, j'ai célébré Noël chez moi avec mon père et ma grand-mère et c'était génial. Noël prochain, nous allons aller à un refuge pour donner de la nourriture et des cadeaux aux SDF. Je pense que ce sera une expérience inoubliable. So as I said, if you wanted to do that and pause it and do it as a dictation, hopefully I said it slowly and clearly enough for you, and you can now check it against the text. Again, if you listen to the podcast, I'd recommend you go onto my website, katelanguages.co.uk/courses, and download the worksheet, because then you'll be able to check what you've just listened to. Right, if you're going to translate it into English, I suggest you pause the recording now, write out your translation in English, and I'm going to translate it for you now. Okay. J'aime Noël parce que j'aime offrir les cadeaux à mon père et à mes amis. D'accord. I like Christmas because I like giving presents, or I like to give presents to my father and to my friends. I mean, that's literally word for word. I like Christmas because I like giving presents to my dad and my friends, or to my father and my friends. Okay, l'année dernière, j'ai célébré Noël avec moi. L'année dernière, j'ai célébré Noël chez moi avec mon père et ma grand-mère, et c'était génial. Last year, I celebrated Christmas at home. So chez moi, you can either say at my house or at home, avec mon père, with my dad and my grandmother, and it was great. Génial, I don't know, great, super, brilliant, fantastic. Any kind of positive adjective like that. Noël prochain, next Christmas. Nous allons aller, we are going to go, à un refuge, to a shelter, pour donner de la nourriture et des cadeaux aux SDF, to give food and presents to homeless people. So SDF, sans domicile fixe, are homeless people. Je pense que ce sera une expérience inoubliable. I think that it will be an unforgettable experience. Okay, so it's quite complex, some language in there that perhaps isn't necessarily familiar to people. I liked the idea of bringing in some poverty and homelessness and charity work and those kind of things, that kind of vocab in there as well. Going a bit cross topic there. Okay, so yeah, check your translation against what I just said. If there's anything wrong, obviously have a little look, try to work out what you got wrong. All right, we're going to now move on to translating from English into French. So our 5 sentences are: I love Christmas. Last year I got a present. I like giving presents to my friends. We ate some chocolate and cake. Next Christmas I'm going to a homeless shelter. Okay. As it says here, use the text in task 1 and 2 to help you. Every word that you've got here that you need to translate into French is in texts 1 and 2 in some form or another. Okay. So you should be able, as we've done these and translated them, you should be able to kind of put the jigsaw together and create these sentences. Incidentally, if you're a teacher who is thinking about how to teach these, that's exactly what I would say. Do these and translate them first so they know exactly what is in there and they've got the key vocabulary, and then these sentences should be a breeze. So again, pause the recording, try to work out how to translate these sentences into French, and then I'm going to give you the answers now. I'm going to scroll right down because the answers are at the bottom of this PDF. Okay, so sentence A, I love Christmas. J'adore Noël. Nice and simple. J'adore Noël. Last year, I got a present. L'année dernière, j'ai reçu un cadeau. Last year I got a present. L'année dernière, j'ai reçu un cadeau. I like buying presents for my friends. J'aime. Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, right. I need to change this, and I will change this before I put it up on the thing. I like giving presents to my friends. I don't know why I've got I like buying in the answers there. Sorry. So it's actually I like giving presents to my friends, and the French is correct here. So you notice these tiny little things. J'aime offrir les cadeaux à mes amis. J'aime offrir les cadeaux à mes amis. À is a teeny tiny word, but really important because it means to. So don't forget that. And it's I like giving presents to my friends. We ate some chocolate and cake. Nous avons mangé du chocolat et du gâteau. When you're talking about eating food, you tend to use du, de la, des, which means some. So nous avons mangé du chocolat et du gâteau, and the du needs to be repeated there. Next Christmas, I'm going to a homeless shelter. Noël prochain, je vais aller à un refuge, and then you can add pour les SDF, but un refuge is enough. That's what is in the translation text, isn't it? Nous allons aller à un refuge. So all you've had to do is change the sentence about in the translation text, which is nous allons aller. You just change it to je vais aller. Okay. So again, have a little check of what you've done there, see what you might have got wrong, work out why it's wrong, how you can correct it. Okay, there's a few other activities here that are a bit more open-ended. So there's a writing task. Again, if you're a teacher, I know it's in this order. Personally, I would do this as the last thing because it's a more open-ended, writing a paragraph. This one I've put écrivez environ 90 mots en français. It's a 90-word task. You could try and get them to squeeze it into 40 words, I guess, if it's a, foundation or, well, foundation need 90 words, or key stage 3, maybe, I mean, unless it's an exam, the number of words isn't that important, is it? But yeah, so I would do this as probably the last activity. And this could be something that you could create a really nice, a nice piece of writing that they could do, that they could produce really nicely. If you have listened to my podcast episode, my CPD one on, what was it? I've forgotten the title of it. What was I talking about this? Oh yeah, designing a curriculum, that's it. I talked about, and Mary Myatt talks about this in her curriculum book, is creating beautiful work. This is a really lovely opportunity to create beautiful work. So something, a nice piece of writing on a bit of Christmassy paper or something like that. Okay, what does it mean though? So, vous écrivez un email à votre ami français ou votre amie française sur Noël. Décrivez. So you write an email to your French friend, male or female, about Christmas. Décrivez, describe. Si vous aimez Noël et pourquoi pas. If you like Christmas and why not. Ce que vous avez fait l'année dernière pour Noël, what you did last year for Christmas. Un cadeau que vous avez reçu l'année dernière. a present that you received last year. Ce que vous allez faire cette année pour Noël, what you're going to do this year for Christmas. It is no coincidence that all of these things are included in these texts here. Okay, so again, for lower ability students, or for Key Stage 3, if they're going to struggle to create their own paragraph just like off the top of their heads, then you can give them these sentences and they can either say j'adore, or j'aime, or je n'aime pas, or je déteste Noël, and then you can give them options for reasons, and you can use this text or the two texts here as kind of like to scaffold, writing frames basically to scaffold what they can say in their own writing task. But as I said, I would leave this to the end and I would do a couple of these other ones before. So number 5 here is describing a photo. Écrivez 4 phrases en français. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a sur la photo? 4 phrases en français. So this is just like the foundation writing, 4 phrases. There is another photo card here with some questions on, and actually right at the end, the last page of the PDF, there's also this one, same photo, and you've got 3 questions plus the 2 teacher questions. But what you could do as well is you could use the photo on page 4 as, you could create some questions about that as well. Again, up to you. This would be a good opportunity to explain that they don't have Christmas crackers in France. If you look up Christmas crackers on an online dictionary, it's basically just a long-winded explanation in French of what Christmas crackers are, which I thought was quite interesting. But you've got un petit sapin there, you've got a little Christmas tree. You can, say what they're eating. Maybe it's turkey. I'll just pretend it's turkey, maybe. Doesn't look hugely appetizing looking at it in more detail. You can say ils mangent un repas de Noël. They're eating Christmas dinner, etc. I mean, there's lots of different ideas for how you could exploit that photo. You could even give them some of the key vocabulary and then do the photo straight away. It's up to you. I mean, I like to give them input first, and then they can create ideas themselves. You could do some true false things about what's on this photo. I don't know, thinking of hundreds of ideas here of how to exploit it. But yeah, this is totally open-ended. So many things to say about the photo. All right, and then again, I'm just going to skip to page 6. So again, this is a speaking task, and this is a bit more open-ended again as well. So qu'est-ce qu'il y a sur la photo? What is there on the photo? You can describe. There's lots of things here. Again, just be aware that some of these things aren't particularly French, but it's a good opportunity to talk about how things are different in different countries. So like the stockings, they don't have those in France. But again, as I said, there's so much you can look up online and what they actually do, and use that as a jumping off point for a discussion about Christmas in France. But you've got your sapin here. You can start looking up things, or students can be looking up things like, we call them baubles, that kind of stuff. Il y a un chat, there's a little cat sur le fauteuil. So yeah, il y a beaucoup de cadeaux de Noël. So there are things, words that we've just had. Qu'est-ce que tu aimes manger à Noël? So this is vocab that we've had previously. What do you like eating at Christmas? Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire pour Noël cette année? What are you going to do for Christmas this year? So again, that's stuff that we've had in the text, the reading task and the translation task. And then, as I said, if you scroll right down to the end, you've got a couple more questions for the teacher. Qu'est-ce que tu faisais pour Noël quand tu étais plus jeune? So what did you used to do for Christmas when you were younger? I mean, I know like children might not be that young, might not be that old, but even so, it's, it changes, doesn't it? And then, préfères-tu recevoir les cadeaux ou les offrir à ta famille? Do you prefer to receive presents or to give them to your family? And then obviously there'll be a et pourquoi, and why. So if you're doing this for yourself to improve your own French, have a look at these 5 questions, think about what kind of answers you might write for that. Incidentally, if you want to do any of this and write it out and to send it to me, I'm really happy to mark it. kate@katelanguages.co.uk. Yeah, just email me your answers. Tell me exactly what you're emailing me though, because if you just randomly email me some sentences about Christmas, I'll be like, I don't really know what this is. So if you say, hi, I've done this lesson and this is page whatever, this is the photo card question. The same with the 90-word question if you want to have a go at that. Right, the last thing that we are going to do is the role play. Okay, and again, in terms of teaching, I think this is a lovely thing that students can do in pairs, working with a partner, and you've got, you know, one of them can play the teacher and one of them can be the student. If you're doing this to improve your own French and to work on your own French, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the role of the teacher's role, which is the one in bold, your partner's role, and then I'm going to leave a gap so that you can fill in your answer. Obviously, I can't hear you to correct it. If you would like to record it for me again and send it to me, kate@katelanguages.co.uk, then go ahead. That would be great. I'd love to hear how you're getting on. Okay, so the role play. Tu parles avec ton ami français ou ton amie française de Noël. Numéro 1, ton opinion de Noël l'année dernière. 3, surprise. Et 4, c'est la question, Noël l'année prochaine. Okay. It's a little bit easy because you've got the questions here. Okay, so think about possible answers. So, bonjour, est-ce que tu aimes Noël? Wait for your partner to tell you his or her opinion of Christmas. So you need to come up with your opinion of Christmas. Ton opinion de Noël. And I mean, if you want to expand why you like it or why not, parce que c'est fantastique. I mean, it doesn't, if you have taught role plays, if you know about role plays, they don't have to be too, they don't have to go into too much detail. Okay, so think about your answer for that. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait pour Noël l'année dernière? Wait for your partner to tell you what he or she did for Christmas last year. So you need to say what you did for Christmas last year. Again, in the reading task and in the translation, and both translation tasks, there are sentences that you can adapt to talk about what you did for Christmas last year. I'm recording this in December 2021, fully aware that Christmas 2020 was a washout and you probably didn't do anything. So apologies for that. But hopefully in a few years to come, we won't be so bitter about, oh, I want to talk about last Christmas. Yeah. Okay, the third one, so the surprise question. Aimes-tu offrir les cadeaux à ta famille? Pourquoi, pourquoi pas? So do you like giving presents to your family? Why not? Moi aussi, moi non plus. Depends if you like them or not is your response. Me too, me neither. And then there'll be a pause and you need to ask a question about next Christmas. I don't know what that's going to be, so I don't know how to respond in French, so I'll just say super or something. Okay, so again, if you want to write out your answers, pause the recording now. And then I'm going to go through them. I'm going to leave a blank, so it might feel like we're having a conversation. We're doing a role play. Okay, ready. Bonjour, est-ce que tu aimes Noël? Qu'est-ce que tu as fait pour Noël l'année dernière? Aimes-tu offrir les cadeaux à ta famille? Pourquoi, pourquoi pas? Moi aussi, moi non plus. Je vais aller aux États-Unis. I don't know. Hopefully you said, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire pour Noël l'année prochaine? And I said, je vais aller aux États-Unis. I'm going to go to America. Hopefully that response made sense in relation to your question. So yeah, there we go. Some vocabulary and some language, some sentences, some reading and translations, etc., all about Christmas. And hopefully this has given you the confidence, as I say, if you're teaching it and you just want to feel a bit more confident about how to work through these resources, and help you with your own French, with the pronunciation, etc. Hopefully you've had a couple of ideas in there of activities that you can do with the students. As always, I love hearing how you use my resources. I am at Kate Languages on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. They're my 3 social media. I don't do any other social media. Email kate@katelanguages.co.uk if you want to do any answers to any of these. As I say, just make it really clear what you're sending me, but please go ahead and email me. I'm happy to look at them and mark them and go through them. If you're listening to the podcast or watching this on YouTube, if you could subscribe, rate and review, it just helps other people to know that they're out there. I'm going to be sharing about this on social media, and if you could reshare it and just let people know. So as I say, it's all free, and it's my petit cadeau de Noël pour vous, as I keep saying. It's my little Christmas present for you. So, joyeux Noël et merci beaucoup et au revoir.